He threw that patch on to make it look like he was in a club, but he was never in a club.
They want to be able to tack like 15 felonies upon jaywalking across the street. This outlaw motorcycle member and it doesn't matter what they stack on you.
Because they're a friend or they know somebody and they start hanging them around and making them an official hang around. Next thing you know, they're prospecting. Before you know it, they got a patch. And I'm going, you've never been in a club.
His dad was a bandito. He borrowed $100 from the club. It might have been 1,000. I don't know. But his own son was 86.
I think it was from that point on, I was like, one day, I'm going to be one of those guys.
And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got PeeWee. What's up, PeeWee?
What's going on, Billy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So today, a lot of people have been writing in, asking me questions to ask you. There's a couple people that people have written in and wanted me to ask you if you knew anything about them.
I take the fifth.
On most of them, right?
Right.
You're not like Pat Matter. I'm telling all of them. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is there is people out there who talk that you're on the internet telling your story, but they're on the internet telling their story too. So it's very odd, don't you think?
Yeah, most of those people are full of shit. Most of them people are the ones who talk all that shit behind your back and tell other people you're this, you're that, but they don't say it to your face,
Yeah. And I'm about to show you some pictures of some pretty infamous people. And you explain if you know them, and if you have a little story about them, maybe share a story about them. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Or we'll start off with this one.
Mel Chansey. Yeah, it's Road. They called him Road when he was in the club. He's my best friend, you know what I mean? He's like my blood brother. We're always in contact with one another. He just had me out to visit him, you know what I mean? And he's a good dude, man. I mean, I'd jump in front of a gun for him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. When did you first meet him, and what was it like meeting him?
I met him. I was in the Sinners Motorcycle Club, and he was a Hell's Henchman. And we would go up and party with the Hell's Henchmen, and that's how I met Mel when he was called Road. And that's how I got to know him. So I knew him when he was very, very young, in his early 20s. And then even after he became a Hell's Angel, he was like one of the youngest presidents of the Hell's Angels. But I mean, he handled business, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he took care of that city. He took care of that city of Chicago. I said in my book, he's the mayor. He's the mayor of Chicago.
It was no easy task, right? With what he was dealing with.
No. He handled it.
To be where he is today, it's a long road.
Yeah. He changed his life. He changed his whole life around. Yep.
All right. So I got another guy for you. You tell me. I mean, obviously, you know this guy because you're in the picture with him. But who's this guy?
Oh, Cisco from Oakland. He's passed away. He's passed away now. One of the best Hell's Angels I ever met in my life. And I learned a lot from that man. And I had the utmost respect for him. Basically, I mean, I had tears in my eyes when I heard he died. Great man. Great man. I wish I could have went to his funeral. Him and I love doo-wop music. I have so much doo-wop that he made me and his name's on it, and it means a lot to me.
When did you first meet him?
I met him the first time was back in 1994 when I was prospecting from Minnesota, and we went to San Francisco for a USA World Run, and that's where I met Cisco there. And he's just been a big influence in my life. I mean, I've been at his house. I go listen to doo-wop music with him. We both had that in common, the doo-wop music. And he turned me on to some old doo-wop I didn't even know, so it was pretty cool.
When I was a real young kid, I used to listen to that kind of music. Real old school, yeah.
I'll tell you what was really cool about him. He was so classic, man. He was such a classic dude. I can't say it enough. I really can't. I honestly don't give him enough credit for the great guy he was. But I remember I was sitting up in his office upstairs in his house, and he had a grand piano behind us set up on the rack in front of the piano. The music sheet was all penciled in. And he said, hey, look at that, PeeWee. I bought that at an auction. I paid big bucks for that. Do you know what that is? And I said, no. He goes, go over and read it. And I read it. It's the original writing of the song and the music in pencil to Unchained Melody from the Righteous Brothers. Yeah, and he had that. Yeah, he had that on his piano. I'll never forget as long as I live.
That's pretty wild.
That is. It really is, man. I mean, to have something like that, wow.
Yeah, that's iconic.
That's just one of many things he had, you know.
Was he a collector?
Yeah, and he collected a lot of old doo-wop music. Like I said, you know, he turned me on to tons of it. I just went down and I seen, like, I'm not exaggerating, probably 30 to 40 CDs that I have that say doo-wop 1, doo-wop 2, doo-wop 3, all the way through. And then it says Cisco on the top, you know.
Yeah.
And then he gave me one with his mugshot on it. And it says his name on the bottom of it. With, you know, he's holding the card, you know, with his face turned to the side. And on the top, it says country love songs. And they're all songs about screwing and, you know, just plain fucking and all that stuff.
His hair turned white, right?
No, his hair pretty much stayed pretty black. I mean, I don't remember with white hair. No.
Who's this guy?
Oh, that's Steve Towson. That's Mr. 187. He's another one I miss dearly. When I left the club, he begged me to come back, and he said, I'm going to make this right. And I said, just Steve, let it go. Because those guys were already talking shit, you know what I mean? And he said, I'll pound every one of them with you. We would have been pounding everybody. Because that's all he did was talk.
Where did you meet him?
Oh, man, I met him way back in 1994 when I was prospecting too. And then he left the club for a while to raise his kids, which you got to admire him for that because, you know, his chick took off. And then once he got his kids situated and they were old enough, he came back to the club.
So that's a very rare situation.
Right. And I remember one time he came up to me, he said, you need anything, big guy? I said, I don't need a damn thing from you, Steve. And he goes, PeeWee, I'm a prospect. You got to treat me like one. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. No way. That dude's a straight up hero, warrior, you name it, he's all of them.
He used to negotiate with the Mongols,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, he was the main guy negotiating with the Mongols because he called me up, asked me to sit in on it with him. I told him I would do it with him. With him, I would. There's other people asked me I wouldn't do it with. But unfortunately, he was killed at a Hell's Angel funeral from another Hell's Angel shot him. Yeah. I wasn't there, so I don't know the particulars. I'm not going to get in detail, you know, because I wasn't there.
Like you said, they eat their own a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. See more of that than anything else. And it's sad, too.
It really is.
It really is.
This is him, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
You could do that all day long, man.
I remember first time I seen a Harley do a wheelie, I was like in awe. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that with one of those.
Oh, he was great at him, bro. Great at him. He was great at him. He's a good dude, man. I truly miss him. I do. I really do.
All right, who's this guy?
George Christie. I know George very well. He's doing well for himself, you know.
Yeah. Writing
his books, doing the tour. When he was out talking on the road, I went and saw him. I think it was in St. Louis. I went to see him, and George is a good speaker. You know, he carries himself well, and he always represented the club very well, I thought, when he was speaking. You know, it was hard for Sonny because You know, Sonny had the throat cancer, and he always had to like hold that air thing on his throat, and he was whispering most of the time. But George, you know, when people say, "Oh, you know, we threw this guy out of the club because he talked to cops," we all had to talk to cops. We just don't pull over to the side of the road and sit there and not say anything. We all go to jail then.
Yeah.
So he's got to be smart enough to talk. And George was a guy who would step up to the plate. I had to do it every time in Sturgis. Because these guys,
they look to you guys for leadership qualities.
Right. I mean, it was so bad by us in Vegas. I was in the pool swimming, and the guys came back. "Hey, PeeWee, the cops are here. They want to talk to you." I said, "Well, go talk to them. Find out what they want." And they came back. They go, "They want to talk to you. They only talk to you." So I throw a towel around my back. I walk out all pissed off, you know, all soaking wet. I go, "Yeah, what do you want?" And they said, "Hey, PeeWee, how you doing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing great. What's up?" And he says, "Hey, we got a couple complaints about the music. Could you just turn the stereo down a little bit?" I said, "That's it?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "We'll do it right now." And he goes, "Thanks, man. Have a good night." I said, "Yeah, you too." I turned around and I said, "You dumb fuckers," because they're all standing there, you know. Not one of you guys could talk to him about turning the music down. Yeah. So I guess I got, you know, I got pushed out of the club for not becoming a Hell's Angel, you know, telling the cops I'll turn the music down.
Yeah, but you were sensing a vibe from everybody, and you ended up saying, "I'm done with this," right?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't push you out.
No, they didn't push me out. I could have stayed.
Yeah.
I could have fought the whole room. You know, I could have fought the whole room, bro. It wouldn't have mattered. Especially with my kid there, we would have mopped the place. Those white walls would have been red when we left.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. Oh, that's De La Brava, DL. One of the most fascinating guys. High-spirited, high-strung, but all heart, man. His heart is as big as he is, man. He's a good dude. I had so much fun with that cat. I really do, man. And that picture was taken right there at my 50th birthday party.
And you were an active member at that time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And when did you first come across
I could see the shirt that was on him, and that was for my birthday party. A T-shirt. Yep.
Yeah. When did you first come across him?
I think he was prospecting. He came out to Sturgis, and he was hanging out with me. And I swear to God, I never had more fun with a guy prospecting than with DL. I mean, he was just so high strung. He was a funny guy, man. You know, if I said, "Hey, go down there and talk to the guy. Tell him to take his patch off." You know, he'd go down there. I'd just be watching down the alley. They'd be arguing. I'll say, "Bink!" He'd headbutt the guy. he was like just high anxiety. That was the perfect way to describe him. You know.
Yeah.
We'd be in the bar, and I'd say, "Hey, those two guys over there, they said," and before I could even say what they said, he'd run over there and be fighting with them. Yeah, he was the best. I went out of my way to, you know, make sure that I bought him personally from me, like his 1 year, you know, his 1 year plaque. And I really enjoyed DL's company. And he's no longer in the club. He quit the club, but he was in Sons of Anarchy, and he did well and stuff like that. And I wish him the best. You know, I don't hear from him anymore, but I do wish him the best. I still love the dude, man. So good luck to you out there, DL.
He's probably continuing his acting career, I imagine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Maybe we'll see him on Yellowstone or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be
Right.
cool. Yeah.
All right, who's this guy?
That's Sonny. I was at my shop. He's standing on his tippy toes trying to be as tall as me. Yeah, that was one of the times he came to my shop, and he was signing books and stuff like that. And again, he was another guy I learned a lot of stuff from, you know, I mean, telling me history of the club and stuff like that.
So before you met him, what was thoughts on Sonny? Were people talking about him like he was a
Well, yeah, you know, it's like, you know, Sonny this, Sonny that. Everybody had to meet Sonny. And then, you know, I first met him. When I first met him, I was a prospect. He was down talking to this other guy who thought he was some kind of actor or something. He sucked at it, you know. His name ain't even worth mentioning. Matches with Zit. And he was standing there talking to him, and I walked down and said, hey, can I take a picture? And naturally, he jumped in the picture, but I took one with Sonny, you know, when I was prospecting in 94. It was pretty cool because later he signed it for me, you know what I mean? I still got it.
No, you got in trouble for taking that picture, didn't you?
Yeah, I did with Pat Matter. I don't know. I upset him. He said that I don't know. I thought I was too cool for school, and I was getting too big.
Too cool for school?
Yeah, and I didn't understand what he meant at the time, you know. But you know, he tells you to go out and introduce yourself as a prospect to all the new members you can. So that's what you do, you know.
Yeah.
I was introducing myself and saying where I was from and shit like that. And I don't know, he got a hair up his ass, and I don't know if he thought I was taking phone numbers or pats on the back or whatever the fuck I was doing. But yeah, he flipped out on me. I don't know what his problem was, you know.
All right, I got another picture. Let's go down the circle and do tell me who is who in this picture.
Okay. Well, that's Pat in the front kneeling, and that's Crazy Joe in the background. And hey, trust me, when they call him Crazy Joe, he's Crazy Joe.
Which one, the big guy or?
Oh, the guy standing right above Pat with the hair back?
To the left, yeah.
Yeah. And then the guy standing right in front of the flag, that's Tank. He passed away. And then next to Tank standing is Rusty. That's Pat's brother. I don't know if Rusty's still alive or not. I met him a couple times. He's pretty nice. And then the guy down in the bottom is Rooster. He was Pat's vice president. I got along with him, you know, I mean, as fair as could be. A matter of fact, I got along with Pat most of the time, but his mood swings were way too fucking much for me. But Crazy Joe, he just got out of the club as I was coming around. As I came around in May of 1994, he was already gone.
And was that the guy that was voting against you to join?
No. He was gone already. And Tank wasn't even at the meeting where they voted me out. Or they didn't really vote me out. Pat just wanted me out.
No, remember you said you wanted to come back and there was a guy that didn't like you.
Oh, no. That dude's name was Hans. He's not even around anymore. No, he's not around.
You got a story about this guy, the big guy in the middle, right?
Yeah, Tank and me, we would bump heads all the time because we're both big guys, you know. He's a big man, as big as you could see him. He was big. And he had that Barry White voice on him, you know what I mean? When he call you up and, where's my pocket money? It was like, I don't know. You know, if you owed him money, man, you'd be coughing it up. But he wanted me to make a frame for a picture. And I told him, man, I'm no carpenter. I'll just go have the thing made. And he goes, no, I want you to do it. I just told you I'm no goddamn carpenter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went and bought the material to make the frame, and I'm trying to glue this thing together, hold it together with staples. Yeah, I did everything I could, you know, to glue this thing. And it was pretty solid. I thought, okay, I got it. I handed it to him. As soon as I hand it to him, you know, he's holding the side of it. He gives it a shake, and the whole thing falls apart. And I'm just standing at the door, and he goes, well, look at this piece of shit. And he throws it like in my face, and he hits me right in the lip, splits my lip. And then when he split my lip, I just looked at him, and he goes, what, you want to do something? He stepped out on the porch. He tried to throw me off the porch. I sidestepped him, threw him to the ground. And everybody come running out of the house, you know, because I got to wait for him to get up before I can start dusting him, you know.
Yeah.
That's the rules. And they, no, man, no. They stopped before we could throw blows, you know what I mean?
Were you a prospect at the time?
Yeah. But yeah, you could fight members. That's what was cool about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I fought my share of them.
Who are these people, if you know who all these people are? Any of them?
Oh, that's a really old picture. I know it's Pat down there with the Yippee-I-K cowboy hat on there. Well, they all got a lot of cowboy hats, but Pat's got the black one on. Oh, God. I can't remember the guy's name next to Pat. And then there's Rooster. My eyes are really bad. Let me see here. I don't know who that guy is with the white hat on, but I think I'm not sure who the guy is with standing above him with the other white hat, but I think the guy in the middle with the cowboy hat on, that's Gramps. And then there's Tank, of course. The guy next to Pat, I think his name is Billy. Yeah, I remember him. I met him a couple times in the bar after he left the club. But Gramps was the original founder, the guy in the middle underneath the poster. Yeah, he was the original founder. I would have to like go in the morning over and, you know, he had a horrible stroke, you know, like half his head was missing right here.
From the stroke?
Yeah. I mean, man, he had like a big indent. I mean, huge. It looked like somebody caved his head in with like a hammer or something. But it was part of his head they cut out from the stroke. And we'd have to go over in the morning because some young punk kid rode by and pulled a hat off his head, an angel hat, and took it, you know. So then they said, from now on, you guys walk him to the store. Every morning, bro, you go get the paper and a pack of Lucky Stripes, you know, every morning.
That's some old school right there.
I'd pull up in the car, dude, it'd be 10 below zero, and I go, Gramps, get in the car, I'll drive you to the store. And he'd go, well, yeah, we're walking. And I'd be like, son of a...
Especially in Minneapolis.
Right. Then I get him back home as he's going in the door. I'll pat him on the back. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll see you later, Gramps. We'll see you later. Poof, I'm gone, you know.
He's trying to hold you out there and talk, right?
Yeah, he wanted me to come in the house and I don't have breakfast with him like that. But
do you know who this guy is?
That's Flash. And the guy next to him is Molly Marvin. Why, man, I respect the hell out of that dude. He passed away, Molly Marvin.
I think Flash did too, didn't he?
No, Flash is still alive.
Is he?
Yeah.
I heard he passed away.
It breaks my heart. I heard he was talking shit about me, but, you know, he forgets I was the only one out of my charter that didn't want to chip in. I bought him a 30-year pin when his 30 years came in. I bought it out of my pocket and gave it to him. But Molly Marvin, he came out to Sturgis. I'll never forget this. He wrote above my door, tough ain't enough. I'll never forget it. It's probably still on there.
Probably.
Yeah. Yep. There's
a legendary picture, huh?
That is Steve Tossin, Sonny, and Cisco. 3 legends. You damn right about that.
Who's this guy?
Oh man, that's Blondie, man. He was one of my idols. I love talking to that guy. When I used to go to Europe, I always look for him, always talk to him. He's Hell's Angel all the way, man. He's a good man. I have the utmost respect for that dude right there. Utmost.
And he has a real thick European accent, right? When you talk to him?
Well, he's from Denmark originally, but Blondie is actually like the Sonny Barger of Europe. That's how popular he is. And now he just moved to Moscow, you know, to help them get rolling. I mean, he does whatever he can to help the club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's all about it, bro. He's all about it.
There's a lot of talk, right, about. Let me show you the video.
When you see somebody with an outlaw, you ask to pass them. You don't just throw them around them, all right? You ask to pass them.
So what do you think of that video? When you see somebody with an outlaw patch on, you ask to pass them.
I can't tell you how many times we were in a pack, and I mean a big pack, and bikes blew by us. I never really seen, you know, like, the only time I ever seen that is one time when the Boggles were driving down the road, and our prospect passed passed like 3 of them. And they flagged them over to the side of the road, and then when he pulled over and got off, one guy jumped off his bike, says, hey, you don't patch full patch members, and started boxing with him, knocked the tooth out of his mouth. They're fighting outside the road. They hear sirens come. They jump on their bikes and they take off. When he came back to the clubhouse, I said, what the hell happened? And he told me, and I said, we can't have that kind of shit. So I called up the president of Bogos and I said, hey, man, we got to get this settled, man, or this is going to go into a big blown out war here. And he goes, what do you want to do? And I said, take 3 of your guys and that dude that was fighting with my prospect and meet us at a bar. And he goes, well, what about, I said some bar, and he said, oh, why don't we go here? I said, I don't give a where we go. Just be there with the 3 guys and him. I'll meet you there now. So we jumped in the truck. It was, I think, me, Trey, and Scott. We went over there, and then we took Brandon, who this kid couldn't fight for shit, but I mean, either could their guy, you know, thank God. It was like watching 2 clowns fucking fighting each other, you know. So we get there, I'm drinking a bottle of water, and the Bongo guy says, hey, I'm going to put my jacket up on the table, man, so in case I hit the ground, it doesn't disrespect the patch. And I said, wow, man, you got a lot of confidence. You got a lot of confidence in yourself, you know? I never think I'm going to hit the floor.
Wait, so this is the guy that's about to fight?
Right, right. And he takes his patch off, and a gun falls out on the floor, you know? And I says, hey, you dropped your gun. And he goes, oh, yeah, I carried it everywhere. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, don't ever carry a gun to a meeting with us again, or it's going to be used on you, man. I said, I mean it. Don't ever bring a gun to a meeting with us. And then when I got there, naturally, there was 5 guys there instead of 3, you know, but I never, you know, thought they could really count real good anyway. But the fight went down, you know, they were fighting. In the back room, I gave the bartender, this woman, $50. I told her, go stand at the end of the bar. There's nobody in there. I just let these guys fight. I said, nothing's going to get destroyed. They fought right there, you know, between the pool tables. And it was pretty even stealing the whole way, really. I mean, they were throwing each other around and throwing punches and kicks. And finally, the Bongo guy grabs Brandon by the balls and starts squeezing him. And I said, wow, man, I've been in over 200 fights. Nobody's ever squeezed my balls. I felt left out, you know. I said, hey, is this a common practice with you guys? And you could tell they were like, whoa, you know, whoa. But then Brandon started kneeing him in the face. And then I made them both stop. And I made them shake hands. And the guy walks up and says, oh, I feel stupid. I lost. I said, you didn't lose. You're a man. You fought. You came here. You fought. There's no win. There's no lose. You guys shook hands. It's over. See you guys later. And they're like, that's it? I said, that's it. Why? They couldn't believe that was it. I said, what, you guys want to fight or what? No. I said, well, then it's it, man. This is the way we handle it. A lot better, ain't it? And they go, yeah. Well, shook hands and left. And that's the way it should be handled, you know?
And when you were leaving, what was down the road?
Oh, they had guys at every McDonald's, every Wendy's. I seen them all parked in the back, standing by their motorcycles, waiting for the big, come get us.
Did you come across a lot of situations like that?
All the time.
Always dealing with just the Vagos or a lot of different groups?
A lot of different groups. There's groups where I would tell them to come talk to me at the clubhouse. If I told you to come talk to me at the clubhouse, why would I invite you to the clubhouse to jump you like some rat pack, bunch of punk, you know? I tell you, hey, Billy, come on down. I want to talk to you. I guarantee you there's nothing going to happen to you, man, because you're coming down to talk to me. A brother from the Sconers, he was the president. His name was D. He lives in Colorado now. He's a really cool dude. He's still a brother of mine, a good friend. He called me up. He said, hey, I got to talk to you. I said, come on down. No hesitation. He came right down, sat there. We talked, had a drink together, shook hands, and he left. And I told him, hey, bro, I give you a lot of respect. You know, he came down. Where the Vietnam vet guy didn't want to come down.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to.
Come down here. Yeah, I said, come on down here. We'll talk. And he goes, oh, no, I'm not being set up. And I said, well, you're not being set up. I'm telling you, come down and talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, then when you run into me, you'll see what happens, you know. And then he did. But I got to say one thing. When he hit the ground, he held on to his coffee. He didn't spill it.
Who's Robert Poland?
Robert Poland to me, was a great, great Hells Angel. I mean, he over 50 years in the club. I have the utmost respect for that man. I heard some bullshit that put him out of the club. And I think it was just a lot of jealous people with him. But Robert Poland came to my rescue when nobody else would. And I mean, that's a brother. I mean, really, that's a brother. That's all I'm going to say, you know. And he came to my rescue and he helped me. He was super cool. And then when he came to Sturgis, I got to help him. So, you know, what comes around goes around. But yeah, that guy's A1 in my book.
How about Doc?
Doc, you know, I never really got to meet Doc face to face. I talked to him many times on the phone because he used to make the patches, you know. He's old school. He's hardcore old school Hell's Angel. It was just a situation where the way he got voted out of the club. I mean, I can't. I'm glad. I don't know the whole details on it, so I you know what I mean, I don't want to do the hearsay thing. So
yeah,
just from what I heard, and I don't want to repeat that. So
what about Vert from NYC No Bats?
Oh man, Bert is I would say Bert's a legend in that club too. I mean, that man stuck by. You know, I mean, a bomb went off in his hand, blew his eye out, his arm off, and he could have said this and walked away from all of it. He didn't. He had like well over. I'm going to guess, but I would say 54, 55 years in. He was in a long time, man.
It's commitment.
Yeah, I mean, in 50 years in a club, come on. And then these guys get voted out like nothing, man. I mean, just goes to show, I mean, how much he really changed. It really changed a lot.
So he got voted out too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, it's just hearsay what I heard, so
yeah.
I'm not going to repeat that.
How about Slave Louie?
Slave Louie, I've never met the man, but I've heard nothing but great things about him. Swear to God, I mean, even in death, he was idolized by so many Hell's Angels and Satan's slaves. That's where he came from, you know. He was just a big man that took care of business, bro. You ask any one of those guys about him, and they talk very highly of that man, very highly. I wish I could have met him, you know, but he was gone before my time.
What about Big Vinny?
He's another guy, another Hell's Angel legend, but unfortunately he died before I came around the club, you know, but I heard crazy stories that he did and stuff like that, you know, and it's just he was a character, man, you know. I mean, just the funny things people tell me about him that he did. It was just he did whatever he wanted. Yeah, when in doubt, knock him out. Yeah.
Said he allegedly threw his wife off the clubhouse roof.
Yeah, it was some girl or something. I was in the clubhouse and the monitors were going, the cameras. And I was just sitting there watching the cameras, and man, the tour bus stops out in front of the clubhouse. And they go, "This is the famous headquarters of the Hells Angels, New York City." And I'm sitting there watching them on the monitor. And he says, "We're up there on the roof, allegedly," this is how they say it, allegedly, Big Vinny Guillermo threw his girlfriend off the top of the building for not performing a sexual act on him. And
I heard they thought she was an informant.
No, this is what the guy said on the tour bus. And I just turned to one of the members that was in there and I go, "Is that true?" And he goes, "No. It wasn't off the roof. It was the 5th floor."
Yeah, it's out the window, right? How about Doug the Thug?
There's another guy gone way before my time, but I've heard many stories about him, you know. Seemed like a hell of a guy. I wish I could have met him too.
How about John the Baptist?
John the Baptist I've met many times. John's a really good man, a good leader. I even wrote that in my book. He's a guy who strongly believes in the club and the rules of the club. You know, I know he doesn't hate me right now, and he knows me. He knows my inner being. He does. I really, truly believe that. Somebody already told me, you know, that he even said, "No, I don't hate PeeWee. I like PeeWee. I just can't talk to him because that's the way the rules are, you know."
Is he still a member?
Yes, he's still a member. He's got to be going on 50 years.
Yeah.
Got to be. But and that's his, and I want to tell you something. That's his real name.
Yeah, John the Baptist, right?
That's his real name, yeah. On his birth certificate, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What about Irish?
Irish is Mike Farrell. He was from O'Farrell. He's from Oakland. Man, I heard nothing but what a badass he was, man. He was a hell of a fighter. He got in a fight with Big Benny down at the clubhouse, man. He cleaned Big Benny's ass, I guess. That's what I was told by many, many members, you know, so he's a bad dude.
What about Sandy Alexander?
Well, there's another great guy, you know, that I didn't get to meet. He left the club. I think he was still alive when I came around in 94. He was still alive, but I never met the man. You know, but I mean, if you watch the movie Hell's Angels Forever, he's the one pretty much narrating the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking to the camera and like that. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different interviews with him.
And he's been in a lot of movies too. He's been in a lot of movies.
Has he?
Yeah.
Terry the Tramp.
Terry the Tramp seemed like a really cool guy. The saddest thing that I can remember is Cisco telling me a story one time. He said, it was about 1965, and they were sitting at the meeting. Sonny brought all these rules in, you know, for the club to have some kind of structure. And that's when they were designing, you know, the new patch and they had rules. They said, we got to live by these rules because, I mean, a society with no rules like they're doing now, I mean, you know, the only ones that I think they're killing now is each other. He said that Sonny was going to bring up a rule saying no more slinging, you know what I mean? No more for smoking it or anything like that. So they were going to vote on that. I guess Terry asked Cisco, well, whatever way you vote, brother, you're still my brother. I love you, you know, because Terry was hooked on this, you know. So that's what Cisco told me. And then they voted on it, and then Terry tried to keep himself clean. It didn't work. They had to let him go, I guess. And not too much longer after that, he OD'd, you know.
And the speculation going around that Sonny Barger gave him a hot shot. And
yeah, see, that's, like you said, it's speculations. I don't do that shit.
What about Maurice Monboucher?
I never met him. I've signed my name on a card to go to him. See, postcards we used to do all the time, the guys in the prison. And I just signed my name on it. Because his cards couldn't say anything like Angels Forever, Forever Angels, or 1%, nothing. Just your name. Because you got to remember, Monboucher had a couple of prison guards supposedly killed. So they were really giving it to him in the prison. So if something came in and it had any angel, anything on it, like even HA on it, 81, boom, they throw it right in the garbage. So when they were telling you, hey, man, here's a piece of paper, sign this card, it's going to a Monboucher, you know, you just put your name on there, man. I didn't even put my nickname. I put my real name down, you know, because I think just a nickname would have got it thrown out. I think so. You know, you don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about George Baby Huey?
I really didn't know much about him, bro. I didn't hear much about him either, so I really can't comment on that.
What about Mark Papa Briscoe? I
knew Mark very well. You know, I knew Papa. And he would come out to Sturgis all the time, hang out. He was into it. And then he unfortunately got shot, you know, and he was murdered. And that was one of the things, you know, that was in my head when I walked into that wedding chapel. And I start walking toward that Mongo, and I saw him reach in his pocket. I was like, hell no, man. I ain't going to end up, you know, shot in the face, you know, like Papa did and stuff. And I didn't know what the guy had. I didn't give a shit, man. I just started swinging on him. Sure enough, there, boom, big old knife falls out of his pocket.
He could have just as easily stabbed you with it.
Yeah. And as the judge says to me on the way out to the courtroom, well, you should have waited till he brandished the weapon and try to use it on you. Right. Does that mean like pull the hammer back on the gun and wait till he shoots and then get busy?
I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, right?
Exactly.
What about Lightfoot?
Oh, Lightfoot, another great guy. And I just recently heard this too, and I didn't know it, that Lightfoot used to be in the club, the Breed, that, you know, the Angels got in a huge fight with in Cleveland. That he used to be a Breed. But yeah, he came along, and man, I love Lightfoot. Anytime I saw him, he'd go out of his way to come give me a hug and a big old kiss and stuff. And, you know, hey, PeeWee, how you doing? Stuff. He was solid, man. Once again, he's another guy, you know, when I heard he died, it broke my heart, you know.
And so we talked about a lot of different Hells Angels. Is there any people that are in any other motorcycle clubs that stand out in your mind? Maybe you had dealings with them. What about Taco Bowman?
I met Taco many times. So when I was a sinner, I met him. I never met him when I was a Hells Angel. I met him when I was a sinner, and I would talk to him. You know, I mean, he'd come up, he was cordial to me, he'd talk to me, and he was always trying to pump me to get me to buy a support T-shirt, but I wouldn't do it. But yeah, I knew Taco, and then when I think he went down, and I think Shock took over, and he ratted on about 40 people, and now I think, I'm not sure, but I don't know who's running it now, to be honest with you. You know, I don't know if,
what about Jeff Peck from the Banditos?
Oh, Jeff Peck, he was a national president of Banditos. Good guy, super.
Is that the guy from Washington?
No, that was what's that piece of its name? That guy's a big fabricating line piece of shit. George, that's his name, George. Yeah, I heard him tell a story one time where we supposedly showed up at a bar and they knocked Sonny on his ass. Listen, if they knocked Sonny on their ass, man, people would have been running out of there with all kinds of leaky holes on them, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bull. And when he said that on national TV, I knew he was a fucking liar, you know, and a bullshit. So, but Jeff wasn't like that. Jeff was real laid back, cool. You could talk to Jeff. I had the utmost respect for Jeff Peck, and I still do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing, like, I don't know, a couple life sentences. He'll never get out.
Is he for what?
I think for racketeering under racketeering law, RICO.
Do you think that's going to be the end of all these clubs? Is the racketeering?
Yeah. Now that they moved it from the mob onto the biker clubs, they're using it more and more now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a month ago, 16 Hells Angels and Red Devils just got caught up in a RICO.
There you have it.
Yeah, I did a story about it today. It's pretty wild. What about the leader of the Sons of Silence?
Well, there was a couple my time. JR, he was the one when I came around, like in 1994. He was a little skinny guy. He was cool as hell. Cool as hell. He'd always take the time to talk to you. Matter of fact, all those Sons were really cool with me. I got along with those guys great. You know what I mean? When I got booted out by Minnesota, I would go hang out with those guys. I rented them one of my tents. My what was it? I think it was a 20 by 30. Yeah, 20 by 30 tent. I read them. They have property out there in Sturgis. And they'd throw a big shingding out there, and yeah, they're good guys. And then JR died, you know, and then Bohr took over, and I don't know who's running it now. If Bohr still is, Bohr's a hell of a good guy too. He give you the shirt up his back, but you know you want to piss him off. But
so are they cool with the Angels out there?
I couldn't tell you that right now. I've been gone 14 years, bro, and I hear all these little things. And again, I'm not going to do no hearsay, you know. But they used to be really good friends with the HAs, because I can remember back in '94 them coming to Rockford when I was standing at the gate watching. And I remember the members coming through, hey, PeeWee, shaking my hand. How you doing, bro? And they came there for a meeting with the Hells Angels to see about flipping over to become Hells Angels. But the Angels told them, no, you guys got a prospect and all that. And they said, get walked. And that would have been a big add-on.
Recently, there was an interview. I don't know if you know this guy.
Yeah.
Hollywood himself.
Yeah.
So he was on an interview with Vlad. He did an interview with Vlad, and Vlad brought your name up.
I interviewed Charles PeeWee Goldsmith.
Yeah.
You know who he is? we talked about how there are no black members in the Hells Angels. The way he described it was a lot of Hells Angels are in prison. So when you get into the prison politics, when a riot breaks out, people take racial lines, right? The white guys go the white
case. You
know,
know, the
so
blacks stick with the blacks, the Mexicans
exactly.
with the Mexicans, the Spanish with the Spanish,
Exactly.
the Italians with the Italians. That's just
how it is
history,
in prison,
you know?
Right. So what he basically said is that if you were to have a black Hells Angels member, if a riot would break out, it would be unsure which side he would take.
Nah, that's
so that's bullshit.
Nothing but bullshit. That's
Okay.
bullshit. Everything comes out of his mouth is bullshit.
Right off the rip in the interview. And his response wasn't so welcoming.
Yeah, I heard it. Somebody sent it to me.
Why do you think he has some hostile feelings toward you?
Probably because nobody really knows who he is. You know what I mean? He's a guy who's an ego seeker. You know what I mean? He looks at himself in the mirror so much. I'm surprised he hasn't had a couple ribs removed so he could himself. You know, he started coming around. You know, when I left the club in Vegas, we hung out a little bit, but I knew he was full of shit because he'd be talking to me one day and then hanging out with those guys another day. And then they tell him, "Don't talk to this guy. Don't talk to that guy." You know, I mean, if they said eat a piece of shit, he'd eat it. You know.
And did he walk away from the club or did he get pushed out? Like, it was a while ago since he
actually quit on his own, but it was me telling John the Baptist was their president, and I told him, "Man, I'm sick of seeing Chuck on TV at the fights when he never calls us and gives us a heads up he's in my town." So John put it to him, "Hey, you're calling or you ain't going there." And I don't think Chuck liked that, so he just quit, you know. He took his ball and he went home, you know.
He was a president at one point of New York City, wasn't he?
I don't know if he was or not, to be honest with you.
They say he was in some articles. I don't know if it's true.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't like you and I think George Christie.
Of course not. Because we do these podcasts and stuff, but he's doing them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's doing them too. So what's the problem?
Right. So people got to listen to his bullshit.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Yeah.
There's a story about Chuck Vito beating up a bunch of pagans. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, in his book, he wrote it. I don't know how true it is. You know what I mean?
So what did he say in the book?
I don't even remember. It was so long ago. It's something about that. 6 of them tried to jump him, and he handled all 6 of them or something, which I don't know. Either they're tiny guys or some real weak guys. Because I know anybody with 6 guys has got their hands full.
Yeah. Even
Okay,
3 guys would probably be a lot.
3 guys is a lot.
Yeah. Maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme was with the group. Right?
Yeah, right.
I heard he slapped the shit out of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is that true?
That's a story that's going around. I don't believe it, but yeah.
What did you hear?
I just heard that he slapped him or something like that. That's all I heard, yeah.
That Jean-Claude didn't want to fight or something, right?
Yeah, it was I think it was in a restaurant or something, so I don't know.
So what's in store for you for the future, man? You want to tell people about your book?
Yeah, you can get my book. It's under CharliePeeWeeGoldsmith.com. That'll pop you right onto the website to order it. Basically, than that, I've been doing some podcasts, and a guy supposedly writing a script for me on the book. Hopefully, that goes somewhere. And other than that, things are what they are. You know what I mean?
Oh, and you heard about Rob from Ventura passing away.
Yeah, Rob from Ventura passed away. He was in my Brothers for Life group. I got 143 people in that group now.
There was a lot of upset people when that guy Rick put that story out there saying Rob died when he didn't.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Usually Rick tries to get right on top of that, but maybe he jumped the gun on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was selfish to do to his family, because then you got people calling Rob's family saying, "I'm sorry for your loss," and he's not even dead yet. But according to Rick, he was. Not my dogs in that fight, but rest in peace to Rob from Ventura. So, is there any other people that you could think of that we didn't cover?
Man, there's so many people, bro, that, I mean, we could go on and on, like, you know, Big L and I'm trying to think who else.
Is there anyone in your Vegas charter that stand out in your mind?
No, not really. Well, yeah, the Rats, they stand out in my mind. The cross-dresser, that stands out double in my mind.
Yeah, what's up with him? He turned into a chick?
Well, he changed his name from Jeff to Jenny, and I guess he had laser treatment to take all the hair out of his face so he don't grow facial hair, and he had eyebrows put on or whatever. You know, I think he was doing all that. I think he was doing that shit when he was still a Hell's Angel, but I mean, I couldn't prove it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, bro. You know?
Where'd you come up with that conclusion? Was stocking fall out of his vest or something?
No, somebody seen a box full of dresses and panties and all kinds of shit in a box, a hidden box he had in a room full of his like toolboxes and like that. And they opened it up and said, "What the hell is this?" I think it had a dildo in there or something like that. I don't know.
I think it's my wife's.
Yeah, that's what he tried to do, I guess.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's a loser.
Here's a picture from you and your is your son in this picture?
No.
Who are all these guys?
Well, most of the guys, these are the Las Vegas charter guys. The guy in the middle by the death head, that's the Rat. That's George. And then Rhino, he left when we threw him out of the club. The guy to the right of George.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went and joined when we kicked him out of the club. He joined Sons of Silence. He was there for a while. I beat the shit out of him. I mean, I don't care for that dude. He's a punk to me. And then Cornbread, he left the club. I don't know about the little the Munchkin guy, if he's still in there or not. But the guy next to him with the hand on him, he got run over by a semi. I don't know if Big Jim's still alive, but the guy with the red bandana on, we threw him out of the club because I caught his old lady wearing one of his T-shirts in the grocery store.
What do you mean?
Huh?
Wearing one of his T-shirts?
Yeah, I was coming down the aisle and she was walking up the aisle wearing a Hell's Angel T-shirt.
Like soft colors.
Yeah.
And no one else is supposed to wear soft colors except members, right?
Right.
So what was the conversation after that happened?
I just told her, I said, "What the fuck are you wearing that shirt for?" She goes, "Well, I just grabbed it off the floor and threw something on real quick to run to the store." I said, "Well, hurry up and run home and take it off real quick before I rip it off of you." And then that's when I knuckle busted him a couple of times, and I found out he's telling everything to his old lady, so we threw him out of the club.
And was he like copping pleas when you're telling him you're done?
No, actually, he just stood up, took everything off, put it on the table, and said, and walked out. He was out of it. He wanted out himself too, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets too much for these guys, right? Some of them.
Right. And the guy that's next to him, the guy in the Levi's with the blue bandana.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Alaska. His name is Dale. He's a great guy. Great guy. And the other guy, that's Paul. He was from Vegas. They kicked him out for running. He was kind of a chicken shit, I guess. Took off running, runs his fucking mouth. But I caught him at a doctor's office. He didn't want to get all tough there. So,
sometimes the things when they get put on the spot, things change up, right?
Oh yeah. A lot of this, you know, like Chuck does a lot of that too, you know. And he talks about computer tough guys. He's number one in my book. You know what I mean? But so much of this and not enough of this, you know. That's what I say.
At your age, would you ever put on a fight for charity?
I don't think at my age I would know.
No.
I'd get down if I had to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If somebody comes over and provokes a fight with me, I'll fight in a minute. But I mean, put on a charity fight, it would be a charity, you know.
Maybe we could get Zito to jump in the ring and
I couldn't once my gloves hit his head, all that shoe polish would come off, and I
So I was talking to Popcorn, and he goes, you know, a lot of people think, oh, these bikers are gonna kick your ass and they're all tough guys. He goes, all they do is sit around and drink beer all day. They're not all MMA fighters. They're not all great fighters. You can vouch for that, right?
Yeah, I can vouch for that for sure. For sure, bro.
Because a lot of people think that, like, oh, they're all bad.
Yeah, it's the guys they like these new guys. A lot of times they don't know about us older guys. You know what I mean? But they find out quick.
Yeah.
The older guys who know, they know, and they just say, you know, let it be.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining me. It's always a great time having you on. A lot of information.
Right on, bro.
And I'll get this out to the people. I look forward to doing more with you. We'll have some more people on here. We'll chop it up. People love that.
Well, we did another hour again, you bastard.
I know. We wanted to do 30 minutes, but it's always long with you. We did a 3-hour interview one time.
Sorry, everybody.
It's all good. They're going to love it.
Yep.
Go check out his book. I'll put a link in the description of his book. Greatest Lie Ever Told. Thank you, PeeWee.
Thank you, man. And power to all those brothers you showed me, man, and talked about.
Definitely.
All right, bro. Later.
If you guys like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, do bad, start your own podcast. Peace. Thanks, man.